Ah, the free transfer. It's the deal every fan loves to see, right? It sounds like the ultimate bargain in football, a total masterstroke of business. But what if it's all just an illusion? In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you how free can actually be the most expensive word in the entire game.
I mean, on the surface, it looks like a complete no-brainer. A club gets to sign a world-class player without paying a single dime to their old team. The media praises it as a genius, risk-free move, especially in a market where we see these insane nine-figure transfer fees all the time.
But yeah, that whole perception, it's pretty much a mirage. The reality is, it's not a clean, zero-cost deal. Not even close. What it really is this tangled web of hidden fees, crazy demands, and suddenly that ultimate bargain turns into a massive, high-stakes financial gamble.
Which brings us to the big question we're really trying to answer today. Could it be that free is actually the most expensive word in all of football finance? Let's dig in and find out.
Okay, so first things first, we need to just completely bust this myth wide open. It's really built on a total misunderstanding of how money actually flows in the modern game.
So here's the most important thing to get your head around. The money that a club saves on a transfer fee, it doesn't just vanish into thin air. Nope, it just gets rerouted. The club is still on the hook for a massive amount of cash. It's just instead of one big, predictable payment, it's now a whole bunch of other expenses that are way harder to control.
So let's follow that money, shall we? Where does it actually go when it's not getting paid as a transfer fee from one club to another? Because this is where the deal starts to get really, really expensive.
The first, and honestly the biggest, place that money goes is into wages. Think about it. Everyone sitting around that negotiating table knows there's no transfer fee, so that saved money immediately becomes the main bargaining chip. It gets baked into a much higher weekly salary that the club is then locked into for years to come.
And you know who else loves this? The agents. A free transfer is an absolute goldmine for them. With no transfer fee to complicate things, they can demand these huge commissions and so-called loyalty payments, which can easily run into the millions, all for just making the deal happen.
And then you've got the signing bonus. This is basically the transfer fee, just paid directly to the player instead of to their old club. But here's the key difference. Transfer fees are often paid in installments over several years. A signing bonus, that's usually a massive lump of cash, paid right up front, which puts incredible immediate pressure on a club's finances.
And this right here is the real long-term danger. We're talking about the ripple effect. See, one of these free signings on a huge salary, it doesn't just exist in a bubble. Instantly, it sets a brand new benchmark for what the top earners get paid. So what happens next? Well, the guys already at the club start knocking on the door demanding raises. Future players you want to sign, they see that number and they want more too. And before you know it, your entire wage structure is totally out of control. And your financial stability is, well, it's in serious trouble.
And that ripple effect we just talked about, it's not just messing with one club's books. It's actually feeding this enormous, global, billion-euro machine. The scale of the money in football today is, well, it's just staggering.
Just look at this number. According to Deloitte, just the top 20 revenue-generating clubs, they brought in over 11 billion euros last season. That's the financial ocean these deals are swimming in. We're talking about a world where every single percentage point of a club's budget is worth tens of millions.
So where's all that cash coming from? Well, for your average top club, the biggest piece of the pie is commercial revenue. Sponsorships, merchandise sales. That's about 44%. Broadcasting rights are next, bringing in 38%, and then ticket sales and other matchday income make up the final 18%.
But here's where it gets really interesting. There's a big strategic split happening. The absolute top-tier clubs are pushing their commercial revenue like crazy, but the clubs just below them, they are way more reliant on that broadcast money. And for that second group, controlling costs, especially wages, is absolutely crucial because their income is more fragile. It depends so much on things like qualifying for European competitions year after year.
Now, with all this money sloshing around, going through agents and all these back channels, it's probably no surprise that the governing bodies have had to step in and try to get a handle on the whole situation. I mean, the simple truth is that the power and financial influence of agents just got so huge that it became a global problem. This wasn't something individual leagues could deal with on their own anymore. It needed a response from the very top of the sport.
And that response came from FIFA. They've rolled out this whole new regulatory system. There's a dedicated agents department, mandatory licensing for everyone, and even a special tribunal, the agents chamber, to handle all the disputes. It's a clear attempt to get some control over the gigantic, often untraceable fees that agents are making, especially from these so-called free deals.
So, okay, with all these risks and new regulations, what's the smart move now? How does a well-run, financially responsible club even navigate this landscape?
Well, the really smart clubs, they're playing a different game entirely. A lot of them actually prefer paying a transfer fee now because it gives them control. It lets them keep their wage structure in check, which protects their financial flexibility for the future. They get it. They understand that paying a fee today can actually be the cheaper, safer option over the next 5 years.
So if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this: a huge transfer fee. That's just the tip of the iceberg. It's visible, you can plan for it. The real danger is everything lurking below the surface, that hidden mass of inflated wages and agent fees that can truly sink a club's finances. So from now on, whenever you see that headline about a big free signing, I want you to ask a different question. Who is really paying the price here? Because if there's one thing we've learned today, it's that in the crazy world of football finance, there is absolutely no such thing as a free transfer.